I am
And
your
I,
host, Michael Christian, and today on Snacks and Suplexes, I have one of my bucket list of people to interview, a woman who's terrified me for over 20 years of pro wrestling, and this is our first face-to-face interaction, and my heart is beating out of my chest. This is
what?
Mickie Knuckles. If you've never heard of her, she's been wrestling on professionally since August 2nd of 2003. If anybody who knows me knows that was my 8th birthday. So in a way, in wrestling, we are connected, and I love that.
I don't know why you're scared of me. What did I do? I'm a
Ma'am,
nice
you
person.
you wrestled. You tried to stand up on a broken leg. You tried. You're like, I'm going into
I
shock,
still
and I
wrestled with it
watched it.
broken. Yeah. I wrestled with it
I was
broken
like,
for about 5 months after that. So,
yeah, and that's insane. Like there is no reason not to be terrified of you. I mean,
uh,
what I've
I'm
heard from
lame.
Joseph Schwartz, Randy West, two other pioneers in the wrestling industry who actually have their own wrestling school in Michigan, they said you were all sweet and nice, and I was like, I'm going to go for it this month. And within the last few months, I've been excited with wrestling. Let's go over some of these accomplishments because I don't think I can do this in one breath. Usually I can because there is a lot here. IWA Mid South Wrestling Champion, Mid NWA Mid West Wrestling Champion. There's what is this? 15, 16 belts. Girls Fight Champion, OVW Women's Champion. My favorite one, Horror Slam Deathmatch Champion, Horror Slam Tag Team Champion with Randy West, who you've been on both sides of the ring with.
Hmm.
I've seen you shed blood in like over half a dozen states with Randy West. I'm like, just to get beat up by Randy and you, it's just like that's terrifying. So how
That's a
did
lot of
this come to
people's
light?
fetishes, if I'm going to be honest.
That's terrifying. I'm sorry. Like my wife's 5'2" and she scares the mess out of me. But
Oh, the shorter we are, the angrier we get. So, yeah, I could see that.
yeah, I met Randy. What was that? What year was that? 2017. I did not, or 2018. I met Randy West and I got to watch Joseph Schwartz wrestle. They both wrestled down in Indianapolis. And
Hmm.
Randy is the nicest. She's like, she showed me how to use my smartphone since I had never had one before. She's like, you should
Okay.
follow my Facebook page. And then she got locked out. So I was like, don't know what's going on. So I followed the new one. But it's good to see their wrestling schools up there. Have you been up there yet?
Yeah, yeah, I'm very happy for their school. They've got a school up there. Truth Martini's got a school. It seems like the upper Midwest area definitely has the hold in America right now on the best schooling for professional wrestling. So I'm very proud of them. He's definitely doing something that I'm striving to do when I get done and hang up the boots myself.
And that it's still hard to believe you've been wrestling for over 2/3 of my life, and I've been watching you since I was 14 years old.
Thank you for making me feel that old. I appreciate it
Ma'am, ma'am, you are not
all
old.
day.
I'm just sitting here saying you are the reason I've gotten into I got into physical media and got into deathmatch collections and have gotten to meet so many great people through deathmatch and wrestling because I fell in love with Mickie Knuckles at 14 years old, and that's what I wanted to watch was you beat up people twice your height and everything because it was the coolest thing. You give us small people power,
Well, I'm happy I could do that.
and it's part of the reason I fell in love with New Jack. Before he passed away, I got a signature, so I'm always proud about that.
My sister actually has a signed piece of his guitar that the last guitar he broke over somebody's head. And that would have been, I'm trying to think, it was somewhere, Anna, Illinois. He came in for a show called Anna Fight. And my friend came with me. Her name was Chrissy. And he broke this guitar over his head. She happened to catch a piece in the crowd. And we were sitting at the bar and he's like, "Yeah, let me sign it for you." And just snatched it from her, signed it. Of course, we bought him beer. And it was a good time, but Jack was always a good friend.
I've never I he loved liked my Twitter a lot back in the day. It was still Twitter then. Like I said, he was more entertaining than Jim Cornette, but less hated almost. And then he liked it, and I just thought that was the
Which
neatest
is
thing.
weird if you think about it, because it used to be reversed back in the day. Back in the day, Jim Cornette was was very well liked, and now it just seems like they kind of flipped the script. It's like the heels are now the babies, and the babies are now the heels in this world. It's so strange,
Yes.
and I'm
So
still in the
what
middle.
Oh, absolutely. You were loved and hated by a lot of different people, but I will say every fan interaction because I've seen your interviews with fans or pictures with fans, and you were smiled, and they're like, she's covered in blood, but yet had enough energy to smile. And that's what means a lot to us fans. Like every chance we get anything like that, when the wrestler smiles or just gets beaten up and covered in blood and takes that photo, it means a lot to us.
There's been a lot of times I've been bloody, and I've made sure to put a piece of my blood on a memorabilia for them or sign it. But you all got to think too. Not only do I have to leave the ring and still be interactive with people, I still got to go home all cut up, bloody, and beaten up, and still got to go to mom mode. So I'm pretty used to it by now.
Yes. And this is my stepdad in the comments.
My stepdad.
Festus is his name, and he's actually a referee out in Indianapolis now.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
hopefully,
I was like,
if I haven't met you, hopefully we will meet.
you've almost crossed paths a few times because he was trying to be. Things didn't work out right. He wanted to be a ref during AWR, and you guys almost crossed paths then. Like he showed me you, and I'm like, this is scary. And then the more I watched, the understanding of wrestling that it's just not. It's seeing what else you can do, seeing how hard you can push the body. Well, let's get into these fun things. You were formerly called where is this at? I about said Tracy Smothers. That's not right.
That's my dad.
Isabella Smothers. And I was like, that's interesting because I have a little sister named Bella. So I was like, it drew me in different ways. What is one fun Tracy Smothers story you have that I'm sorry, like he gave back to so much to the industry. It was kind of where I had to start off.
So, how what reading is this podcast? Let's start off with that.
I go all ages, but I can restrict it later. I'm not too worried. I have fans that range from 12 years old to 80 years old. A guy at my store that I work at is 82.
He got me stabbed. We'll do that one instead. So we were in Alabama. It was many, many years ago, and he had this stick with him that he always carried, where he had his flag on. And of course, he's a heel, so he's on the microphone. He's cut his promo. Tracy was the best at inciting violence and inciting anger from the crowd. Like if there was ever a heel, like a natural born heel, it was Tracy Smothers. Whether you loved him, whether you hate him, he always invoked some sort of emotion from you. So we just got done with the match. He wrestled somebody. I managed him. We're walking backwards. We're halfway between the locker room curtain and the ring. And I've got this stick, and he's on the microphone talking about how they're jack-off hillbillies. He ain't never coming back to Alabama again. He's going back to the great state of Tennessee. He's getting on his helicopter and flying out of this place, the whole nine. And as we're walking backwards, I see the security in front of us keeping people back. And I'm assuming that this is like a circumference, like they're surrounding us, making sure we're safe. I was wrong. This is why I do never assume ever again. And next thing you know, I feel a sharp, white, hot pain in my rib area in the back here. Registering what happened, I look down and I see something sticking out of me. And I look up and make eye contact with the perpetrator, who happened to be an 80-year-old woman, gray hair, little bitty old thing, shaking because she's so mad, just staring me, dead-eyeing me, mad as hell that Tracy has incited this anger in her. And so she stabs me, of all people. And I look at Tracy, I'm like, hey, Pops, I think I got stabbed. And he's like, at the time I was supposed to be Isabella Smothers, and he could never just say Mickie. Whenever he said my name, he had to say Mickie Knuckles. It came off as one word, Mickie Knuckles. And he was like, oh, Mickie Knuckles, we got to get back in the ring. And I'm like, well, the locker room's right there, Trace. He's like, no, we got to get back in the ring. And it didn't dawn on me or register, but he wanted to get back into the ring because anything, like if a fan jumps in the ring, you have a right to defend yourself. So Tracy was in the mode of going into defense. And this is what we were trained when we were younger in the business. This was passed down through generations. So just to let any fans know, you all think that as a fan, you all can get in a ring and come into our area. Well, that's a hazard zone. That's where we work. If you come into our area, we have to defend ourselves because we also have to defend the wrestling business. We also have to defend everybody else in the ring. We've got a lot riding on you coming in that ring. We can't let you come in the ring and whoop our ass. That's just not going to happen. So Tracy, of course, drags me back. I pull this thing out. It's not like protruding blood or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about it. I've had worse cuts in my world. And we get back in the ring. The cops get called. They go and they clear out the building. Well, people waited in the parking lot forever, it seemed. So now we're stuck in a building with the cops on the outside. Fans are refusing to leave the parking lot, right? So the cops are trying to threaten them with arrest or fines and citations, and they're not wanting to leave. And I am starving. This is well before the days of DoorDash and any type of food delivery service. And I was like, bro, we were so close to the locker room. We could have gotten the locker room, went out the back door, left, been down the road at Waffle House, eating and everything else. Like, you made us stuck in, you imprisoned us in this facility. And so, like, that's one of my, and I still have a scar on my back that I show people when I did something called Scar Tours for X Brand. They, they did like a little documentary series on me, and they, did like, where they showed scars and I tell the stories of them. And that was the biggest one that I was very adamant I wanted to tell about, because it reminds me, of how good Tracy was. But in that moment, like, it wasn't as serious as ever, everybody would think nowadays, oh my God, a fan stabbed, so and so and da da da. At the time, it was just another Friday night for us. It was part of the job. So
I mean, there's stories of the Freebirds almost getting stabbed in Texas on a weekly basis. So,
yeah.
hey, I had caffeine as well. Actually, I'm double fisting it right now.
Well, like, they stopped making the ones that I like. So like they're
That watermelon?
this is the watermelon one. This is my new favorite, but I originally liked the coconut berry one. And I got turned on to that by Violet J, because that's all he would drink. And I needed an energy drink. I didn't have time to go to the store. And so I was like, hey, can I have one of your energy drinks? And he just gave me one, and I got hooked. I was addicted ever since. Over in Europe, though, they sell sugar-free versions that they don't sell over here. And I am really upset about that, but still. But these are my new
I
favorite, the red,
I
the
posted the
watermelon
other
red
day, don't like Monster, but my brother gave or my wife gave me a sugar-free grape Monster, and I'm in love with it right now. It's a weird thing. I hate grape, but I took a drink of it. When you're in a desperate need, you need
yeah.
caffeine. Boom.
Well, like when I was little, I would get heat stroke and sun poisoning all the time because my mom would just lock me outside to play because she didn't want us to bother her. And I'm ginger. I'm a natural redhead. So she'd wake up and I'd be passed out in the yard with heat stroke or sun poisoning. And of course, you have to, put her in a bad tub full of ice, and you give them Tylenol to make sure they don't start running a fever or anything like that. And she'd always give me the grape chewable ones.
Yeah.
And so I just immediately, like, I don't like grape flavored anything anymore. So like you just said grape, and it made my stomach churn, and the excess saliva in your mouth, when you're getting ready to throw up.
Mhm, mhm.
It's so
Been
bad.
there. No, I mean, the artificial of that flavor, I'm not gonna say it now. It just has a place of my youth right there. So I understand that good memories and bad memories of that. But while we're stuck on food and hunger, what is your go-to snack on the road? Like driving on the road, you see a gas station, snack cakes, McDonald's, or my personal favorite, somebody who got French fries with the Wendy's shake and would dip it. And I was like, no.
Before they changed the recipe, the Wendy's fries, they had the fat fries. Now they've got the natural cut ones. But they used to have the fat fries, and dipping those in Frosties. I'm not gonna lie, I used to love that when I was younger. When I almost died last year, from an infection in my head, and I really reevaluated my life because, I was 238 pounds. I'd always been a big girl all my life. My mother was Italian and Irish. So it kind of runs in our genetics, anyways. And when I went to the hospital, they were like, your blood pressure's out of control, this, that, the other, which is probably fact because, I didn't live the healthiest lifestyle. And then I almost died from the infection in my head. They found a spot on my lung they thought was cancerous. Wanted to biopsy it. I just straight up denied that. I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Um, and decided to try to go more of like a healthier route because I realized going to other countries, when I would eat normally over there, I would lose weight and I'd feel better. I wasn't bloated. My stomach wasn't extended. I didn't feel as tired and sluggish or anything like that. I'd come back over here in the States, be over here for less than a week and right back to feeling miserable, bloated, heavy, just completely unhealthy. And so, when the infection happened, I was coming back from Australia and we actually landed in Houston. Thank goodness, because that hospital took really good care of me. And when they told me all this stuff, I was like, we're gonna try something a little different. So I went on an intermittent fasting thing. I also started the Wolverine peptide shots because this shoulder here, since TOD, the TOD I won, it's just come out constantly. And so they wanted to do surgery and told me I would lose the use and feeling in my shoulder and that arm. And I'm predominantly right-handed. So I was like, yeah, we can't have that. But I refuse to have any more surgeries done. I've had too many surgeries and definitely don't want to engage in anymore. So started doing, the Wolverine peptide shots, which is the TC 500 and the BCP 157, and it's just straight injection there. And it's something our body naturally produces, but we don't produce enough of it. It's what chameleons produce to regrow limbs. So like it regrows muscle, ligaments, bones, and it truly is probably going to delete most of the necessary surgeries that people are being told about their joints and their hips and knees, shoulders, anything like that. So started doing that. Started going to the thought of, if I can't hunt it and I can't grow it, I don't eat it. So I made this diet. I don't like that word. I made this diet as sustainable as possible. So if I go into a gas station on the road, my favorite place used to be Buc-ee's, because where they would make the sandwiches, they would also sell just a little container of brisket meat, which is, delicious. Now it's mostly fat, and I think they're doing that because they were probably losing money on it. But that used to be my go-to, was to get brisket, go and get maybe like a little salad, and I would just pick the salad while I'm driving or something. I'm a huge caffeine addict. I can't stop it. I drink so many sodas in a day, but they're usually, I know everybody's going to get on me. Diet's not necessarily good for you. Well, blow it out your ass, but drink a diet since I was 16. But definitely the Red Bulls and stuff like that. And bananas. I'm a big banana person. If I see a banana and, it doesn't look nasty, I will not eat a banana that has black spots on it. That's just gross. But if I see a banana, I'll grab it. I'll grab a banana. Actually, I did JCW not too long ago, and I was on my way to a show, and the gas station was selling a bushel of bananas. And so I grabbed it. And when I walked in, they were like, "What's that for?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to use it in my promo." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, just wait. And so I did, and completely just like everybody was like, "I can't believe you did that." I'm like, "Yeah, well, don't put it past me to do anything crazy." So, but yeah, those are usually my go-tos. If I can't grow it and I can't hunt it, I just don't eat it. And I feel a lot better. Now, when I go over to the UK, which I go quite frequently because it's kind of like my home away from home, I've fallen in love with Scotch eggs. I love Scotch eggs. I don't know why. I love Scotch eggs. But I try a lot of different foods over there. Like, for example, over here in the States, I can't have dairy and I can't have pork because when I got the third COVID shot, because I worked at the hospital when that whole thing happened, and we were forced to get those vaccines. We weren't given the option where we could just get away with not getting those vaccines. And if we got sick, we got sick. We were forced to get those vaccines. Otherwise, we didn't have a job. And I had babies to take care of. And at the time, wrestling wasn't, doing anything because everything was shut down. So I really couldn't afford to lose, my mean of income to take care of my kids. So I got the third shot, the Pfizer shot, got really sick, got hospitalized. Come to find out, I got a bacterial infection that normally our bodies just get rid of. But I worked at a children's hospital, and my body couldn't get rid of because my immune system was compromised. Turned around, stayed in hospital for 3 days with a lower intestine infection. And since then, in the States, just the States, I can't have dairy products and I can't have pork. But I know for a fact, I go to Japan, I go to England, I go to UK, or not UK, sorry. I go to Australia, even Canada and Mexico. I have dairy, I have pork, no problem. Back here in the States, because of how it's processed, it's over processed, and we put over 20 chemicals in our food here that's not allowed in other countries. My stomach just will not do it. And maybe that'll save my life in the end of it, but it's kind of a nightmare because Rocky Road ice cream was my absolute fucking favorite ice cream. that was my go-to.
I get you. I love ice cream too. Everyone's like, "Where did you get this?" I was like, "Oh, I had it made because I'm dorky and I love ice cream." Because right now I'm working on 3 different half gallons of ice cream at the same time, like some of each one. And got a friend over at SportsWire. He's helped me figure out this programming stuff. I always say hi and thank you. My stepdad Festus is like, "Wow, you just went for." I was like, "Yeah, but yeah." So what I'm hearing is when you got sick and everything, you got past it, which means Mickey Knuckles is living forever, is what I'm hearing. I'm kidding, kidding.
We can hope. I mean, only the good die young, and so I'm still here, if that tells you anything. But yeah, no, I tell everybody all the time, the devil don't want me. I've got a plan. I'm gonna run hell in 2 days. Like I already know how this is gonna go. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go to hell. In 2 days, I'm gonna run that place. Okay. And then devil's gonna kick me out. I'm gonna be at the gates of heaven, knocking on the gates of heaven. I'm gonna get mad at the gates by God himself, and he'll be like, look, I'm not ready for this party. We can't have you. And I'm like, well, I gotta go somewhere. And he'd be like, all right, look, I'll give you your own dimension. Where do you want to go? And I'm like, just give me purgatory. So I'm telling everybody now, when you die, they tell you to go to the light, don't go to the light. Everybody don't go to the light. Walk away from the light and make a left, and then you'll find me. That's where I'll be.
That's a great way to think about it. And then an eternal death match. What would you eat? An eternal match. It can't be called death match. It's eternal match. There we go.
Yep.
No
Fight
winner, no
forever.
loser. Just Mickie knocking everyone out. Some great guests recently. Keep them coming. Mickey Knuckles is a legend.
And I hate that
You
word.
gotta
I hate that word. Legend is a terrible word for me. No
you've
legend.
wrestled so many of the greats, and so many have since stepped away, but you're still around. Necro Buncher's kind of around. Like
Oh
he'll
no,
step in the ring every
he's still here
he,
hard.
he stepped back. He stepped back into the ring. The last I saw, he stepped away for a short time. I never saw. And I got Latino
Actually,
Heat TM
he's
as
getting
well.
ready to go to Australia. He's going to Chile, I think, in the next couple of weeks. Australia at the end of the year. I know they talked about bringing him back over to the UK sometime in July of next year. So he's definitely getting around. I've known Necro since I was 17 years old. I'm 42. So
I mean, I tried the pro wrestling training barefoot that ate me alive. I don't see how he stepped on glass, and it's still like, oh, I wrestled barefoot for years. He's
yeah, he
popular
is
in the
very
UK.
popular in
Yes,
the UK. Yeah.
yes. I didn't even highlight that one. Yes, he's very popular in the UK. But I know, Mickey, you've shed blood across 7 countries. At the top of my head is what I think I remember. 7 countries, if not more. I don't count like if you've beaten someone from Chile if they came
You're
over
right.
to a
No,
different city.
7. Yeah, you're right. I had to think about it. Yeah. You got
Yeah,
to think
I would
I've
say
had over 30 concussions, which is probably way more than anybody ever should have. But I'm still here, and as far as being as articulate as I am, you got to give credit to where credit is due. Sudokus, Sudokus.
oh, absolutely. It keeps your mind moving. Let's get to some of my favorite questions that I love to ask besides the favorite set. Do you have a ritual before matches or a certain routine you go through?
Yeah, yeah,
What is
yeah. So I'm not a religious person, mind you. Both of my kids just recently got baptized as Baptist, but I've let them kind of decide what faith they want to follow. I was raised Catholic. That is a problem in its own. Anyway, and when my mom died when I was younger, I kind of like looked into different religions because I didn't understand, why things were the way they were. So, so yeah, and every religion I found like had so many opposing thoughts, some contradicting things, but the only thing that every religion that had that I found was consistent, from the Satanic Bible to the Wiccan to the Quran to to everything, was treat others how you wish to be treated. So I try to live on that plane right there. It's not hard to be nice. It's nice to be nice, as quoting a good former friend of mine, Danny Havoc. Moving into that, before the match, I always say a little prayer, not necessarily directed at it, God per se, but just whoever happens to be watching over us, because I believe we're all spiritual, in some way. The energy we have inside of us, the spirit, the Holy Ghost, whatever you want to call it, is energy. And so I believe what you put out, you attract in. So of course I say a little prayer. Usually the prayer goes something like, you know, thank you for my many blessings. Please watch over me. Let us protect each other as we wish to be protected. Let us entertain these fans for their hard earned money. Thank you for my babies. Thank you for everything you've given me. Please watch over all of us. And then I always fist bump everybody, whether they're in the match or just happen to be in the close vicinity of us. A fist bump to say, have fun, be safe, hope you win. And I do it every single person. Have fun, be safe, hope you win. Have fun, be safe, hope you win. And I will do that until, it's time to go out. That's usually my
oh,
little thing.
yes. I gotta say hey to Zilla, who I met through another sports show. They've been watching wrestling. I'm old enough to be their dad, but I'm old enough to be a lot of people's parents, which everyone's like, you're not that old. I was like, just wait, just wait, just wait. I'm old. I'm getting there. But I'm old enough to be some people's parents, and Zilla's always very kind to everyone. I will say, Next question before my brain flops again. Do you collect anything wrestling or have an item from a match that changed your career or molded who you were?
I have the trophy from the 11 deathmatch tournaments that I've won. With the most recent being the belt that was designed by the one, the only Seizawa. Seizawa is a legend in our business. Anybody who's anybody has a T-shirt design or some type of art design of them from Seizawa. That's how you kind of know that you made it in this business. And Sei has only designed one belt that I know of, and it is according to him, anyways. And it's this belt that I have. So I just received it in the mail because it was too heavy to take on a plane. It's heavy as hell. But I just got it in the mail today, so I'm gonna start bringing that with me to shows that I'm at, so fans can appreciate it, fans can see it because this is truly a beautiful belt. And hopefully, when I go back to the Japan, I can take that with me and have Say himself sign it for me. But like the trophies that I've won are like proudly presented in my living room. My kids think they're pretty cool. I've had so many people offer to buy them. And as a mom, I'm always thinking, okay, well, that money could get my kids this, that, the other. But at the same time, it's kind of something that my kids look on with a lot of pride and a lot of respect, for how I put food on the table for them. Let alone for them to kind of see, the places I've been, the things that I've done, so they know that anything's possible that they want to do.
I'm actually going to share a picture of that belt because it is very pretty.
It's a beauty.
Yeah, yes.
It's probably right now. It's my favorite design I've ever seen on a belt. It's heavy as hell because it's three plated instead of just the one normal plate. But it's actual leather belt and three plated. Yeah, you can see it right there. I just took
That is
just took a
beautiful.
picture today. Yeah.
Yes, I just so happened to see it like as I was scrolling through. I was like, "That's pretty." I didn't even like it. I feel bad now, but I love that. Like that, you can tell it looks thick. It's a thick looking
Oh,
belt, and hey,
my son tried to pick it up out with one hand today, and I was like, "Buddy, there's no way. He's 10 years old. No, he's strong as hell, but no."
but yes, I was like, when I added you at first, I was like, "Are you really Mickey Knuckles?" The very first message I think I sent you, and you're like,
Yeah, you
"Yes, it's me."
did.
It's like,
I get those all the time. I don't know why anybody would want to pretend to be me. I think that's just setting you up being glutton for punishment right there. But
I always just try to treat people decent and ask and told you thank you for the good memories. Like, and then I was like, I'd love to have you on my podcast about a month after. I was like, let's just see what happens. And thank you again. I can't thank you enough. And
my pleasure.
where did it go? I just had it. Where'd it go? But if I ever get to see you wrestle in person before I go to any shows or not even wrestle, I will have you sign a Red Bull can. Not a Red Bull can, but
I got
it'd
you.
just be funny.
It's
It's like
symbolic. I got you.
having It's like having a buddy of mine got to actually meet New Jack at a show. He showed up with a baggie that looked like a different kind of item. It was just salt in the baggie, but New Jack signed it.
Yeah. Oh,
New
yeah.
Jack signed it. It was funny. Like, who else has a baggie with New Jack's signature? Not many people.
It's kind of like the
I got
Step
to meet.
Brothers theory with the sword signed by Randy Jackson. He's like, "Why do you have a sword signed by Randy Jackson?" And we're like, "Well, I bumped into Randy Jackson. All I had on me was the sword, and you're not gonna get Randy Jackson's autograph." He's like, "We've done the same thing."
Who or Latino Heat had a question. I lost it. Where'd it go? Where's it go? Who is your least favorite opponent? I mean, it doesn't mean bad. Like you could just have bad experiences in the ring. Like it could have just been a bad night, or as some would say, Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels moment. Two powers too great for the ring.
Um,
I don't think I've seen a bad match of yours. Every story
well,
there's a story behind everything. So I
I,
always
I
try to
didn't.
know that
Me and
before I
Randy
open it.
really didn't like wrestling the Blair sisters.
Oh yes, goodness.
Yeah, we didn't like them. We didn't like wrestling them. I'm sure they're great people outside of the ring. It's just we just didn't. Our chemistry just wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
there.
I watched a match a while back. It was between the Den, Bojack, and Caesar Asher versus you and Randy West. Y'all had chemistry.
Yeah,
I've
there's
actually
gonna
got
be times when because the way that I have kind of developed this character and the way I work in the ring is a little different than most people, and I get that. And so some people, for the most part, have had really good success rate with it. It seems to be easier for people, with the way that I do things. And then sometimes I mean, you're going to run into those people you just don't have that chemistry with. And unfortunately, I mean, me and Randy, we've been around each other for years. I knew her when she was a ring girl for JCW way back in the day before she ever started wrestling. And uh, people got so tired of us fighting each other and beating the hell out of each other all the time. They just started making us tag together because they're like, just please stop. And our style is very similar. The way that we approach things, the stories that we like to tell in the ring, we're very story oriented when it comes to the way we do things in the ring. And not everybody is like that. And so sometimes you have to just say, all right, well, we can agree that we're not going to mesh in style. Like when I was much, much, much younger, I just, for some reason, just could not mesh well with Sarah Del Rey. She's an amazing person. She's an amazing talent. They build it as, uh, Brian Danielson's student versus Chris Hero's student, because I was trained by Chris Hero. She was trained by Brian Danielson. And we tried forever. And then finally at the end, it was like, look, can we just try it my way? Because I have the world's worst memory. And we finally did. And we finally started getting on some type of flow and frequency together. But for the most part, like, I mean, this working in a ring is like any relationship, any work relationship. There are going to be some people you mesh well with easily, and the other people, it's going to be a struggle and a fight. And you do what you can with it.
Yes, yes, I've seen good and bad from deathmatch in XCW, ECW, early days, mass transit incident, that who should not have been in the ring to begin with. Let's just say it the right way. He was a baby who should not have lied. I
Yeah.
I get crap for that all the time, but I was like,
And
but
you're
he
right.
lied.
You're right. And people need to understand what they did to that kid. It wasn't necessarily like an vindictive gang trait. It's the way our business was portrayed through years and years and years was a respected thing. They didn't just allow anybody in because it was a protected environment, a protected business. And the only way you were allowed in is if you earned your stripes, if you took your licks and continue to come back in. And even then it took you years to get in. It's the way that I was trained coming in. I was beat the hell out of for years upon years. Especially because I was a female that was wrestling mostly men, because I lucked out, had my gear, was in the right place at the right time. They didn't have somebody to fill a spot. I was willing to do it. And these guys did not want to wrestle a female. So I really had to fight to earn my spot, earn my place in this world. And that's how it used to be for everybody in wrestling. Like you would never walk up to Fit Finley and talk half the crap that most of these young kids today talk, because Fit would have knocked you straight out. Same thing with Harley Race, same thing with Black Bart. All these wrestlers really just they earned every scar they had through respect and ability in this business. And it was through that respect that, they instilled it in the younger generation. And then somewhere along the way, we became a society that just coddles people, because we believe that, well, if you want to be a wrestler, if that's your ultimate dream and goal, you should be automatically allowed to be a wrestler. When unfortunately that's not the way this business works. This business is hard on you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This business will wear you down. It erodes at you like water on the beach. And if you're not trained for that, if you're not programmed for that from the very beginning, then when you get older, you're going to become more bitter, more jaded at a younger age in this business. And then you're going to regurgitate the bad habits that you've had, that you've been trained and taught, and it gets worse as the line goes down. So yeah, just like everything in this world.
Oh, absolutely. It's
But I
like
agree
how
with
I
you.
came
Yeah, he should have never been in that ring.
it's how I became
But
into
I'm
being a
sure
critic.
at the end of it, he thought, probably won't do that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, he has sadly since passed away almost over 25 years, or I think a few years after you started wrestling, which gastric bypass. Yes, I got really deep into wrestling. I will say, New Jack, he taught me respect the business right away, and something you brought up when we first started chatting back and forth, the golden rule: protect your opponent. Where
Mhm. Treat others, you want to be treated.
You communicate. Communicate. It goes a long way.
I mean, the
Because I
whole name
was
of the game is we're not supposed to actually die in death matches. We're
oh
supposed to walk away. That's the
oh
ultimate goal, to
absolutely.
walk away. Maybe with a few more scars, definitely with a few more bumps and bruises and stories to tell, but definitely fucking walk away. So
Sorry, I got distracted by your auction going on. I just so happened to have it grace across my. I was like, "What's that?"
yeah,
I love skulls and like weird Celtic stuff, so I always have something going on.
yeah.
What was something? You and Randy West. I've gotten to interact with Bojack and Caesar Asher at the previous show that I went to, and they're like, "Wait, you know who they are?" I was like, "Yeah." How? And they're like, "You're older than we thought," because they thought I was like 19, 20 years old, and then boom. I just love surprising people with that, and and I got the new logo up on the hat, which is a leather. I can't point right. There we go, somewhere up there.
I mean, I
My
think
camera's
it's like
not.
reversed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I got it reversed because all my wording, like my logo and everything, up there it did it again. All my stuff hangs out here nicely. I got to move some posters and stuff around,
Mhm.
but I love weird nerdy stuff. Between deathmatch wrestling, Power Rangers, I'm pretty sure I can dig names out of a hat because one of my dream interviews cannot happen anymore of Jason David Frank, but he's the one who taught me high energy, go as hard as you can, as long as you can, but you need to remember to have a little bit left for yourself.
Better to
Woo,
burn
there
out
we go.
than fade away.
Exactly. Where is it at? Which championship has meant the most to you? Would it be tag team gold, that first belt, your first championship back in what was that, 05? Yep, 05.
I'm gonna
Which
be
one?
really honest. So, and this is not a popular opinion in this business. I don't like belts. I don't like championships. I'm gonna tell you why. Um, um, belts are a marriage. When you have a belt, now you're married to that company. You represent that. That's the face of that company for that moment. Trophies and stuff from like tournaments are like notches in your bedpost. It means you were there, you succeeded, you achieved a goal, and then you move on to the next thing. And I tell people all the time, what am I going to do with the belt? I don't even like wearing pants when I wrestle. Um, with that being said, I think it's more along the lines of there's a lot of stress that comes with being a champion of a company. There's a lot of strain because, now not only are you representing the people who trained you, the reason why you're there, but now you're representing a whole company of people. And as of right now, the only, other than the XPW women's belt that I still have in my possession, and that will always stay in my possession. Thank you very much, because it's an XPW belt. Um, but the Horror Slam Deathmatch belt that I had just previously won from Chuck Stein means a lot to me because one, no other female has ever owned that belt, and I'm always trying. My big goal in wrestling is for true equality, at least for myself. Like if anybody else, I want to make a path that way. So if anybody else says I want that too, it's a rough path, but there's still a path there. So with the horror slam belt, it's like another goal accomplished, another milestone achieved to that true equality, which is it doesn't matter your sex, your creed, your orientation, your background. If you truly want something, you truly want to be accepted as an equal, especially in this world who was predominantly male inspired. You can. And so I think right now that's probably the one that means the most to me. Currently.
So, and if I never have a Red Bull can, I just have the stack of these
Oh,
DVDs.
I
I
will
will just
always
have
have
you,
a Red Bull can. I'll always.
or I just get you to sign one of these.
Okay. Well, that'll work.
I have a lot of
Yeah,
these.
everybody wants to talk so much crap about XPW Rob Black. I never had a bad experience with either one of the two. I mean, granted, Rob got snippy with me one time, and I had to be like, look, I don't know who you think you're talking to like that. I know you're probably having a bad day, but I am not the one. And he apologized for it almost immediately. He was like, I'm sorry, but it's not you. And I'm like, I know it's not me. I am a delight to be around.
Is it XPW where New Jack tried to kill Vic Grimes?
I don't know. Is it?
I think so. Like I'm sitting here, like it's giving XPW. It was the scaffold match
That's
because I felt
way,
like
way,
they
way
were.
before me. That was
Oh, sorry. I
before I was even a thought in this business.
that was that was like 0203. I'm thinking because no New Jack.
I thought
I've
it was late 90s.
90s. Yes, 90s. Yes. I'm flopping my days. I have concussions from my own stupidity, not wrestling.
I got it.
Where is it at? Is there any modern wrestlers you love watching? I don't know, Darby Allin. He is like the front man of like, what you want to see something stupid? Here we go.
Uh,
Him jumping, what was
no,
that?
because
Coffin drop.
not him, because I'll get too many ideas, and I don't like heights as it is, but I'll do some dumb things. Uh, as of right now, there are several wrestlers that I truly think are probably the epitome of great wrestling, not death matches, just wrestling. Um, Granted, I can't say Tracy Smothers anymore because God rest his soul, he's no longer with us. But watching Necro wrestle in the ring and watching the story that unfolds that he tells, absolutely incredible. And if we're gonna go, overseas right now, and I tell everybody this right now, the two best Brit wrestlers. There's three. The three best Brit wrestlers in no particular order is uh, Ricky Knight Jr., Danny Darko, and Big Joe. Those are the three absolute best Brit wrestlers that are on the market right now. And I think they should be going way more places, especially Ricky Knight Jr. and Danny Darko, because truly just watching them work, it's always like I'm more of the story based wrestler type. I like when stories are being told. The Shawn Michaels Ric Flair match, where in the middle at the end of the match he looks at him and whispers, "I'm sorry, I love you," and kicks him. That right there is beautiful wrestling storytelling. And everybody wants to go, well, deathmatch wrestling isn't wrestling. This type of wrestling isn't wrestling. And I tell people this all the time. Everybody wants to say that they know what wrestling is, but truly, all wrestling is a physical story. Is a physically aggressive, combative story between two opposing forces. That's what wrestling is. And to watch Ricky, to watch Danny, every single time, it doesn't matter what type of match they're in, it's a beautiful storytelling. And truly, they need to be booked more places. It's a shame they're not, and it's mostly because of the pay to play people. And say what you will, if that's what it takes to get their names out there and that's how they feel and they've got the money to do it, good for them. But at the end of the day, I really think like more eyes should be brought on them too. And Joe goes a lot of different places because Joe, he's freaking 7 foot tall and he's got a good look about him. He wrestles in his underwear and a white button-up shirt, so he has a definite different look about him. So people will see him in the lineup of the Brit wrestlers and be like, "Oh, well, he's unique looking. We're going to pick him," and then completely ignore the others. When in fact, if you truly want a quality star on your show, somebody that's going to keep people enamored, off their phones, focused on you throughout the entirety of the match, it'll be them two. And then, I like watching Phil Insane. I think he's absolutely nuts in the ring. And I would love to wrestle him and Barrett Bronson. Hell, I'd like to wrestle them both together. That just sounds like that would be a glutton for punishment fun time for me. So hopefully I get a chance to do that soon because Tracy Smothers, I call him dad. I call him Pops. He's the closest thing to dad I will have ever known in my lifetime. He wrestled 3 bears, 4 if you include the one at the state fair that he talked about, but nobody got it on camera or nothing. I just want to follow his footsteps, but Pete is not going to let me fight a bear anymore. So the closest thing I can get to a bear is a guy named Bear Bronson. So hopefully I get that book match. But yeah,
You don't even need to say there wasn't a camera. I'm sitting here picturing it. I could see it because Tracy, yes, he lost a lot, but he made everybody look amazing.
okay.
I loved. I don't like calling them jobbers. Enhancements probably a better term. But if you bring out a Mount Rushmore of those who make others look amazing without a single thank you, Tracy Smothers, Brawler, who's the other one? Barry Horowitz, because Horowitz could
Junkyard
actually
Dog.
wrestle.
I'm a huge
Who's
Junkyard Dog
Cummins?
fan, man. The Bulldog headbutt
Regular
spots
Spirit.
that I do
Yeah,
in the ring, totally because I love Junkyard Dog. Yeah.
yeah. Nick Dinsmore. Everybody's like, but that Eugene character. I was like, they did that character as a their thing.
For
Yes,
real.
it's gonna follow him, but he is so smooth in the ring. It's like
It's the same
watching
reason they
Kurt
call me
Angle.
Moose Knuckle. It's a male camel toe. It's a rip. It's a joke.
Yeah. Oh,
Red
absolutely.
Rooster, Disco Inferno. Sometimes you just get the gimmicks that people think, okay, well, they're either gonna hate it and not do it, or they're gonna make the best of it. And when you get a good worker, not a wrestler, a good worker, they can make anything work.
Oh, absolutely. Dusty Rhodes and the polka dots. I love the polka dots.
I'm just a common man.
Oh, and now you're gonna think of that song the whole rest of the day.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
absolutely. It looks like I got one of my guys. So I go to wrestling events with a bunch of people. We call him Strap on Video Games because he doesn't have a strap of sense type of deal. But he's a good guy, takes care of people. He is the largest group of us, and we took him to his first wrestling show, and he almost got sprayed in the face by somebody getting slammed on the Legos. Legos
Yeah,
are not
that's
fun.
that's the risk you take, buddy. That's just like
He
every
wasn't
time I go to a deathmatch show and I see a small child in the front row, and I'm like, listen, I'm not here to parent shame nobody. I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kid, but I am going to tell you, glass is going to fly in this general area, right? And as long as you're in the know and you make your decisions knowingly, I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do with your own child. I'm just going to say, I just want to make sure you're educated on it. But yeah,
Oh, absolutely. And I took my kids to the second previous wrestling show. They went to their first wrestling show. My daughter is how I got all of these. I'd pay for it, but they're all out to Adeline. And if you ever have a chance to meet Anthony Toatelli, definitely do. He is the sweetest guy in wrestling, and he's very smart. Like ring wise, he's impeccable, and I've been watching him for 14 years, and I love doing my research. So I found a clip of one of his matches where my twin brother and I are actually in the crowd with him in frame, and he's like, "How do you do this?" I love research, so I will always find something. Like your debut was on my birthday, on the twin and I's birthday, but it's still a very good debut, and I loved it.
oh, I don't remember it because I got knocked out.
Hey, Sandman didn't remember some of his matches. Sabu
Well,
didn't. Rob Van Dam.
that's for a different reason.
Eh.
That's a little. God bless him, though. I love Sandman. He's such a nice guy, such a shy, sweet guy.
Oh, my stepdad got to meet him. Between all three of us, we've met a lot of wrestlers. My personal favorite is Honky Tonk Man. We talked for like 20 minutes because no other wrestling fans had shown up, and we were just gonna leave whenever the next fans came ready to go. We talked for like 20 minutes. Sweet guy, and the man's like, the roads tore up my back, and it's not even wrestling bumps. It's sitting in a car is what tore
Yes,
me apart.
I always
I
tell
can't
people
do
the
it.
travel's the worst part.
That's where you get like, oh, I'm bored. Let me drink an energy drink. Now let me do 2 shots of vodka. I don't drink anymore, going on 6 years clean, but
Oh, I don't.
just
Yeah,
little thing. It's not my thing anymore. If I want to feel hungover, I stay awake later.
feel you on that.
Thank you, Tom, for coming in. So what happened there? Oh, there we go. I just looked at the stats for the Horse Slam Championship. You beat Chuck Stein, and he is a 6-time champion. So that's hey. And is the horse? I believe Horse Slam is where Randy West and Joseph Schwartz are out of, if I'm not mistaken. Is that where they're
I
out of?
think you're right.
There's actually a key on the belt, if I'm not mistaken. There's a key on one of the side plates.
I'll have to look at
So
it when I get home.
I did an interview with him a few months back, and it's one of those where I was like, wait, I know this one too well. But what's the other one? Who is someone or what was your first memory of wrestling? What was that match where you're like, yep, I'm doing this for the rest of my life? You probably answered this 100 times through and through.
Yeah. I watched Miss Texas beat up Downtown Bruno at the Louisville Gardens.
Oh, that is precious. That is like, hey, I know what I remember seeing, and everyone's like, is that really your first memory of wrestling? WrestleMania 13, Rock or not Rock, Austin versus Bret Hart, blood dripping down his face, passing out. I was like, is he okay? Is he okay? Like I'm like 4 years old looking at it, and that's my introduction. Heck, I'm such a giant child, my wife says. I have wrestling figures sitting on my desk of the match. I've actually landed on wrestling figures because my daughter thought it would be funny to push me off of the bed, and I landed back for
I've done that
I
in
don't
match before.
they don't feel good.
Not at all.
Uh,
That's when you have the
only,
wrong one to go up the wrong area. So it's a really big
yeah, yeah.
one.
Uh, I took a messed up chair shot instead of hitting me between in the stomach chest area with the chair. I got hit in the groin partially. That was not fun. It was a one-off match, and I was like, okay, I'll take the bump.
Yeah,
Worst thing I've
downtown
done
Toledo
was
was Harvey Whippleman, by the way.
oh
Yeah.
mm. I will say as what was I thinking? Sorry, my brain's still in like third person right now from like thinking who I'm talking to. One of the greatest in deathmatch history and one of the pioneers of women in death matches. Ma'am, you've won, you said 13 trophies or no, 11.
11.
11.
I've won
11.
them. I've won the most trophies. I won the most deathmatch tournaments in the world. I'm the
Wow.
highest winning amount in the world. I was tied at number 10 with two other wrestlers for a while, and I just pulled through with number 11 from No Man's Land down in Houston.
Wow. Nick Gage, I believe he's in the top three, if I'm not mistaken. Nick Gage, he's the only one to win like five or six. He won the big three in death matches. I know that, and he won a couple others, but he's like, is
I
that
don't
who I'm
remember what
thinking
he's
of?
running now. I'm not sure, but I know Nick. I know Nikki is Nikki, so nobody can touch the legend that is Nick Gage.
Oh, absolutely. I will say, one legend who has passed away that you would have wanted to be in the ring with, besides Tracy Smothers, who is one that you would have wanted to share the ring with? Again.
Um, that's hard. Like I would get a lot of crap for saying Chris Benoit.
No, you're not. We're actually avid Chris Benoit fans here because wrestling is a very dark
Well,
industry,
here's the
but
thing. Tracy had a very weird theory, a very strong theory involving the mafia, WWE, the government, and Chris Benoit. And when he explained it to me, it kind of made sense. And I don't know if it's because, it's Tracy and, Batman hung the moon for me. But between that and, yeah, uh, Benoit would probably, Andy Kaufman. I know he technically wasn't a wrestler, but Andy Kaufman
hey,
died the day I was born.
wow. I will
Yeah.
say I'm very familiar with Andy Kaufman to the point where I was told I was borderline obsessed from knowing like the entire plot point of like tracking his what was it, three actual matches that he had or two, to the
Mhm.
point where I was going to dress as Andy Kaufman for Halloween years and years ago. I do know a lot about Andy Kaufman though. But I had one name because it keeps sticking in my mind. Hayabusa. I would have loved that match. You could have told a different kind of story from
Mhm.
is it FMW? FMW.
Yeah.
Yes, that would have been interesting because high flying mixed with weapons, but also telling a story because you are a storyteller first and foremost, and I love that. I'm probably gonna go through and watch these next tournaments end to end on no sleep because I got work in like 5 hours.
Good luck to you.
Sleep? What's that?
Yeah, I
But I
know. I
do
have to sleep
appreciate
since I
your
have
time,
kids. I feel
Mickey.
you.
I do appreciate your time. What is your words for the next generation or words of wisdom, some would call?
Be humble. Stay humble. Whoever you step on your way up is going to be there when you're coming back down. You don't think you'll ever come back down, but trust me, gravity will pull you back down. So stay humble.
Oh, absolutely. I do appreciate your time, man. Like it's like my hands have been shaking. That's why I like constantly hold my hands. Like my hands have been shaking because I've been watching you for as long as like I can remember since I've had access to internet. So it's like, dang, did I really just age myself right there?
Well, I'm happy
Because-
I've entertained you. Hopefully, I can
yeah.
keep entertaining you until I can't do it no more.
You are very entertaining. You are amazing at what you do, and I look forward to seeing how many more tournaments you win. 20, 30,
I,
100. Let's see.
I
Let's
think I'm
see.
going to take a timeout right now. The last 2 years, I've been going as hard as I could at every tournament trying to get that number 11. And my body, like, you got to think, at most of the tournaments I went, all rounds. So, most tournaments last 3 rounds. The one at No Man's Land, I ended up having to go 4 rounds. I was the only person in the tournament to go 4 rounds because with a couple people not showing up, 2 people got buys. So they got buys through to the semifinals. I did not. I still had to go 4 freaking rounds. So yeah, my body's like, yeah, just a little break on tournaments, but don't ever say never because you know me, my favorite number is 13. So maybe we can
Oh,
make 13
absolutely.
happen.
Absolutely. There's one, if you ever find yourself in Fort Wayne, Indiana, kind of in a weird spot between Chicago and
I know.
Detroit, kind of in a
I
weird
was
spot.
born in Lafayette, Indiana.
Yeah, same place as
Billy
Chris Owens,
Russell.
actually. Another wrestler Chris Owens. But
Mhm.
if you ever find yourself in Fort Wayne, we have a farmers market every Saturday, 9 o'clock to like 1 o'clock. So it's very beautiful. Everybody has everything packed, or even just loose leaf lettuce. Like it's a fun little farmers market, even though there's 100 booths.
Well, I'll definitely have to try to hit that up. I do love a good farmer's market.
Yes, I'll take pictures next time I go out there if I'm not working. But
I
thank you
actually,
again for
when I
your
was in the
time.
UK, my friend took me to a car boot. That's what they
Boot
call it,
sale,
car boot.
yes,
A car
yes.
boot. And it's where they have all these different vendors in the middle of this big ass field. So that was interesting. I absolutely loved it. Car boot.
You find all sorts of stuff. There we have a couple up here as well. I believe they do them out at the rink and out at what is that? Vintage Treasures, because I've been to my few fair share of boot sales where I've spent a few $100. That's where I found vintage wrestling figures.
Yep.
Yep. But thank you for your time. I do appreciate you coming on today. I do.
Thanks for having me.